Apart from being known as a developed country, Japan has thousands of cool innovations compared to other countries. It turns out that there is a dark side to Japan, where they have unique rules for their students who are still in school, and these are some of the strangest rules that implemented in Japanese schools. Japan has a rule that prohibits students from dating, and this may sound quite strict and old-fashioned to the current generation. This regulation aims to keep students focused on their studies and also their academic achievements. Schools in Japan really emphasize discipline and responsibility, and they believe that dating can interfere with concentration, especially in the school area or outside the school. Usually there are strict rules for personal interaction between students, one of which was two students at Tokyo's Horikoshi High School who were caught having a special relationship in November 2019. When they were interrogated, they said they had fell in love. They confessed their feelings to each other and liked to date in secret. Because their school has strict rules, they both voluntarily left school, even though when they were young, things like this seem like a matter of life and death. But I agree that it's okay to date when you're an adult. Apart from you already know what you want, so you have clearer boundaries or expectations for your partner. It's different from other children, namely that their parents are tired because they have to prepare food from the morning. Schools in Japan have a rule not to allow students to bring food from home. In fact, each school doesn't have a cafe or canteen either. So how do they eat? Well, it turns out that schools in Japan have their own chef or cooking place to give food to each student. This rule aims to ensure that all students get nutritious and balanced food. The lunch menu in Japanese schools usually consists of rice, soup, vegetables, fish, or meat and fruit. Apart from that, lunch at school is also an important moment to teach students eating etiquette and togetherness. If you think about it, there are more benefits than negatives. This regulation may sound really strange, because several schools in Japan require female students to wear white underwear to maintain uniformity and prevent disturbances that might arise from wearing underwear with striking colors or patterns, which can be seen through the school uniform. It's thin. Checking it later isn't just playing with lifting up their skirts. Usually the teachers will go into the toilet when they're changing clothes after sports, so the real aim isn't to harass the female students. Before or after the COVID virus era, if friends went to Japan, actually it's not strange to see many people there wearing masks. Try to pay attention, most of the masks are just the standard white color. The reason is that this has been trained since school where there are strict rules for wearing white masks. The reason is of course to maintain cleanliness. Because if it's white, the teachers can see better when the mask is dirty or needs to be replaced. Moreover, they feel that children at school don't need to be exposed to fashion, so only colored masks. It is considered that it will interfere with the learning process. Some areas of Japan apparently have stricter rules than other areas, because they prohibit school children from walking outside the house after 10 p.m. Some even ensure that you have dinner at home, and if you want to go out for school group work you have to use a permit. What's unique is that there are many shops that actually collaborate with the government to ensure that these rules are really enforced. Cinemas, cafes and places to play video games definitely implement these rules, because if entertainment venues in Osaka, for example, violate these rules, they will be subject to a fine of 300,000 yen. In fact, there has been news that they want to revise the regulations so that you are not allowed to enter these places after curfew even if you are with your. Is there anyone in your country who does this too? In America and England, usually when children want to go to school, they are prepared to wear uniforms and shoes that comply with the regulations without needing to change them, right? Well, in Japan it turns out there are unique regulations that mean they have to have outdoor shoes and indoor shoes too. So later when they arrive at school, these students have to change their shoes into their locker with special indoor shoes. The goal is to keep the classrooms and hallways clean. But in some schools there are rules that make them still have to wear other shoes. And there are also those who wear slip-on shoes like this, because they have been taught them since they were little. They never get confused or complain at all, In fact, teachings like this are actually really good for the home too, because if guests come into the house, it's guaranteed that they won't get dirty. And finally, in my opinion, it is the most absurd rule, which requires students to use white erasers. Even things like this are prohibited and they are told not to use them anymore. Even though they are still white and suitable for use, it turns out things like this have been in effect since the World War era. Secondly, where Japanese people have egos and a high level of perfectionism to ensure that their work is clean and correct, it seems that the quality must really be 100%. That's enough for now. For today's video, see you in the next video.